Hey guys, Coach Jennifer here, and we are going to get ready to warm up for our tumbling. So today I have Emily and Layla and Leah, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch. So everybody have a seat in the straddle. Make sure your legs are nice and straight, toes pointed, knees facing up to the ceiling and over to the side. Make sure you guys are really stretching over the top, keeping that back nice and straight. And arm over your ear. And switch. Really think about rotating the little toes back to the floor. Watch these toes, Emily. And to the middle. Arms straight out, try to get that nose down and force your little toes to the floor by forcing your feet to go back. Knees up. And give me a nice hug. Nice straight legs, pointed toes. Keep your heels and toes together and nose to your knees. Stretch out past your feet. If your hands can't get quite past those toes, then just grab your ankles or place your hands on the top of your feet. Pushing the back of your knees into the floor. Don't forget to breathe. And flex. Pull your heels off the floor. And make sure you keep those legs nice and straight. If your knees bend, you cannot get your heels off the floor. And butterfly. Put your feet together and slide them out just a little and nose to your toes. You can take your elbows and kind of push your knees down a little to get a better stretch if it doesn't stretch when you just go nose to toes. And sit up tall. We're going to go arm across your body, underneath, and pull. Make sure that arm is nice and straight. You don't want it too low and you don't want it too high. Just straight across the body. Feel the stretch in your shoulder. And switch. Make sure it's nice and straight across your body. Feel it in your shoulder. And behind your head. Grab that elbow and pull.
It's like there's a nest over there.
Peaceful. And make sure you're pulling that elbow. You really want to get a stretch for it. You don't just want to set your hand up there. You want to really get a pull. And switch. Keeping those backs nice and straight. And swing it out. Just side to side of the spine. And then everybody's going to get on their knees and we're going to stretch out our wrists. So we're going to do fingers facing our knees first, and you're going to just press down. Make sure that your palm is touching the floor when you're doing this. Nice straight arms and try to sit back on your heels. And if you're not quite feeling the stretch, you can kind of give it a little rock. You can rock forward and backwards. And fingers facing the same direction. Nice straight arms, walk up those elbows, and rock side to side. And then make sure that your wrist goes all the way down to the floor. You don't want to be lifted up like a square. Wrist to wrist. Press down. And same thing, rock side to side, walking out those elbows. And shake them out. Up on our knees. We're going to get ready for our splits. Alright, so we're going to start your right leg in front. And make sure it lines up with your back knee. One hand on each side of your front leg, and you're going to slide into your splits. And if you can go all the way down in your splits, try to keep your shoulders back sitting up tall by pulling your hands back a little. And if you're not quite all the way down, but you're almost there, you can give a little bounce in your splits. Which you just kind of lift with your shoulders. You guys want to do a bounce real quick, everybody? Kind of bounce in your split. I know your arms are all the way down. But so that's basically how you do. You just bend your arms and kind of bounce. And then we're going to do arms up and hold. 1, 2, 3. And bring those legs together and shake them out. Not bad, ladies. Alright, and then back up on your feet. And we're going to put our other leg out in front. One hand on each side, and the same thing, keeping that chest up and sliding down. Now, if you can't go all the way down, you guys can give it a little bounce. But make sure you're keeping your back legs tucked under and your heels on the floor in the front. And then we're going to do our arms up. So ready, and hold. 1, 2, 3. And bring those legs together, shake them out. Alright, girls. We're going to do our bridges. So I'm going to have Layla face Emily. And Emily is going to face that way, and Leah is going to face the wall. Alright, and we're going to do our bridges. So everybody lay back. You want to make sure that your hands are facing your heels and that your feet are flat on the floor, and bridge up. And it's just a regular bridge, so your knees can be bent. You want to make sure that you're pushing up nice and strong, keeping those arms nice and straight. Trying to keep your chest over your wrists. And feet flat on the floor. Alright, and come down, rock it out. And you just grab your knees and rock. Alright, now this time we're going to do a straight leg bridge. So you guys are going to keep your toes and heels together when you do these, and you're just going to push your legs straight. So are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, bridge up. And nice straight legs, keeping those feet together. Okay, so your toes are together and your heels are together, your knees are together. Your legs are nice and straight, and then arms are nice and straight, and you're still really pushing that chest over your shoulders. This is going to help with your flexibility in your chest so that you can get those kickovers and back rockers. And if you're wearing socks, you might want to take them off at home because your feet might slide out from underneath you. And come down, knock it out. Alright, we're going to do one more. And this one will be easy. So you guys can just lay on your backs. Ready? And bridge up. Alright, if you can, I want you to lift up one leg. And switch. One hand. Switch. And then if you can, opposites. One arm, one leg. knocked it out, ladies. You did.
I tried.
All right, and once you guys are done with your bridges, we're all going to come back to the wall and get ready for our line girls. I'm going to move up here so I'm on the way. All right, the first thing we're going to do is our rebounds. You want your toes together, heels together, and arms squeezing. And when you guys jump, you don't want to bounce your arms or really bend your legs. You want to kind of push through your toes more than anything. All right, girls? So arms up and go. You guys are going to go forwards and backwards. Keep those arms nice and straight, Liam. Nice. And backwards. So just keeping those arms in here, squeezing those feet together. Very nice, girls. All right, and frog jumps. Make sure that when you guys are doing your frog jumps that you are going all the way down, touching the floor, and then reaching up past your ears as you jump. Ready? Really push through those feet. Try to point your toes if you can. And then we're going to get backwards. And push it up. I don't think I've ever done these.
I never did
What? Really? Probably why they're so sloppy. Yeah, we're going to stop. And everybody take a quick breath, okay? Now remember, when you guys are working out, you don't want to breathe through your mouth the whole time. You actually want to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So when you guys are working out, whether you're running or jumping or anything, just make sure you're breathing properly, and that will help you keep your breath, okay? All right, next thing we're going to do is our handstand series. Now, we've kind of changed our handstand series up a little because we can't do the handstand forward rolls. So you guys will go just handstand, split on the top, step out for the second one. All right, girls, so it'll be handstand, step out, handstand, snap down, handstand, split, step out. Very nice. Make sure your legs are nice and straight. You're pointing your toes at the top, lifting with your chest and arms. Oh. Woo. Now make sure that when you guys are splitting on top that you're not letting that back leg drop too far behind you. Otherwise you're going to fall into a limber. Like that.
No, I did it again.
Takes body control, girls. You guys are going to have to use your tummy muscles and really squeeze. Alright, girls, turn around and we're going to go ahead and do them coming back this way. Not backwards, girl.
That's right.
That would be talented.
Come on, I keep on doing that.
And you do. Make sure, guys, when you're picking up into your handstands, that you're not looking at your hands, that you're looking at the wall. That keeps a nice straight
I just can't
body.
seem to hold my handstand today.
There we go.
I thought I had it.
You did have it.
There we go. That was all the way. I'm going to hit the wrong way.
The split handstand is a lot harder than the handstand forward roll, I think. So I would say it's going to take a little bit more practice. So if you don't have it down, that's okay. Just keep working it, and once you get it, you'll be super excited. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is our blocking cartwheels. So a blocking cartwheel is pretty much just a cartwheel, only you push through your shoulders like you would for a round off, and you land in your lunge. So, good. Arms up. Good. And so you just want to get a really good push through your shoulders and use those wrists to lift. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and have them come in and do it backwards, or coming back. And the goal is to get off of your hands before your feet hit. So you're turning a non-flight skill, which is your cartwheel, into a flight skill, which is a skill with air. Okay?
Don't teach my wrist a little bit.
There's a good deep breath. Alright, let's take it back just a little. And we're going to do cartwheel step-ins from our knee. Okay, so you you guys are just gonna start on your knee, and when you go into it, make sure that you guys are standing all the way up and reaching out in front of you before you kick that leg over the top. Okay? Yeah. And they are step-ins, and the whole point is that is to just get that chest up as quick as you can. Feet together. And go ahead and jump backwards. We're coming back with these. And then, like I always say, guys, if you don't have space to do the line drills with us, do 10. Last but not least, we're going to do round-offs from a jump hurdle. So a jump hurdle, you start with 2 feet together, and all you do is you just kind of jump and skip for a big step into that round-off, reaching out in front of you, not down for your feet. Ready? Make sure you're pushing off the floor and bringing those arms up to your ears. You don't want to verge your arms to the side, okay? So go ahead, girls. Go ahead and do backwards. Get a nice lift with your chest. All right, and then we're going to take a quick drink break, and then we'll get back to our class. Alright guys, I am back from our water break with Emily over here, and Emily is going to help me do some beginner tumbling for you guys. So, we're just going to start up against the wall back here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do some handstands. So you guys are going to start in your lunge, arms up at those ears, squeezing, and make sure that you guys are really kicking that back foot as you go up into your handstand, bringing those feet together at the top, okay? Now, don't forget to lift that second foot, your front foot, as your back foot is going up so that they can come together at the top. Squeezing and getting those feet together. So nice and tight. Hold on 1 second, Emily. I'm going to have you go ahead and face the door for me, and go ahead and kick up into a nice handstand. There you go. And that's the shape that you want to have in your handstand. Go ahead and do it for me one more time. Right there. So basically, if you can come up to your child and grab them with 2 fingers by the ankle, and they can hold this position, that is what you're looking for, okay? Now, Emily is a silver level gymnast, so she's up there, so her handstands are going to look a lot better than beginners. But this will give you a good idea of what your child is supposed to look like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, or you, if you're not doing it with your parents, it gives you a good idea of what you're supposed to look like. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to have Emily do them back, but I want you guys to go ahead and do them going back. And if you don't have enough space for a line, do 10. Okay? Alright. And then just another thing that that I want to put in here just to say, if your child doesn't quite have the handstand and they're still kind of struggling with it, there's a couple things that they can do. They can either walk their feet up the wall with their hands on the floor, try to get that position, and then every once in a while just slowly pushing away once they get better and better, trying to hold it. Of course, Emily just held it. Or another thing they can do is they can face the wall and just kick up to a handstand, letting their back hit. Which I prefer this one just because it stops them from sticking their head out, which is one major thing that I usually see in beginner tumbling and gymnastics, is a lot of kids like to look at their hands when they go into this handstands, which we don't really want them doing that because it forces them to arch their back. So make sure you keep your backs nice and straight in your handstands and try to look at the wall as you're upside down. All right, good job, Emily. And the next thing we're going to do is our cartwheels to a T. So I'm going to have her come over here. And this is more just about body control and really building up those tummy muscles because you need a lot of them. Okay, so arms up. She's going to do a cartwheel to a capital T.
Wait, sorry.
Not do it. So she's just going to cartwheel over and then boom. Ah! And try to hold her capital T. Make sure that base leg is locked out nice and tight. And then hit your lunge. Go one more time. There you go. And it will be a little difficult, especially at first, because it's stopping in the middle of your skill and it's something that you're not used to. So if you don't quite get it, that's okay. Just keep trying, please. Okay, so I'm going to have Emily go ahead and do some in a line for us, but you guys go ahead and do yours at home. Do 10 if you don't have enough room. Try to keep that back leg lifted. And reaching out. Don't let those arms drop off your ears as you reach for the floor, okay? And then I'm going to have Emily walk back. Alright, and next thing we're going to do is just the forward rolls. So easy peasy lemon squeeze. So feet together, knees together, and then when you stand, you don't want to use your hands to stand up. You want to reach for the ceiling, also keeping those feet and knees together. So go ahead, Emily. Boom. Do you see that? That's solid, and that's what you want to look like when you're on. When you stand up out of that forward roll, you don't want to move, okay? There you go, very nice. And that's super easy. So just make sure those hands are facing forward and that you tuck your chin as you roll. When you roll, you want this part of your head to hit the floor as you're going forward. Okay, so just make sure that this part of their head is touching the floor. When they go down, if they go on top of their head, they don't tuck, and then they can't really roll, or they'll wind up falling flat on their backs on the floor, and that hurts. Okay, so don't do it with straight heads, guys. You want to make sure you're tucking that chin and rolling. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is our bridges. We're going to work on a few bridges. So I'm going to have Emily come up here in the middle for me. And you're going to lay on your back and bridge up. Super easy, which we already did these when we warmed up. And then I want you guys to work on lifting your leg. So basically you want to lift your good leg. So if you're righty, you'll lift your right leg. If you're lefty, you'll lift your leg left. Go ahead and down. Rock it out a second. Okay? I'm just going to let her rock it out for a second. Alright, and then what this is it's getting you guys ready for that next skill that you need, which is the bridge kickover. Another thing, so go ahead, Emily, or everybody, we're going to go ahead and bridge up, and then lift up your good leg, hold, 1, 2, 3, down, and then come down, rock it out. Alright, we're going to do 5 of those. So you just want to lay on your back, and bridge up, hold, 1, 2, 3, and then come down and rock it up. Alright, now when you go up into your bridges, guys, if your arms are bent while you're trying to lift up that leg, don't do it, okay? I want you to try to keep those arms nice and straight before you start lifting. Because if you have bent arms in a bridge kickover, it's not going to look pretty, and we don't want that. So, go ahead and lay on your back again. Ready? And bridge up, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, down. Okay, another thing you can do is you can bridge up and push your chest and then lift your leg. And then hold 1, 2, 3. So if you have the flexibility to kind of get a little bit of a push in your shoulders to try to get your chest over your hands, then go ahead and do it, okay? You guys are going to do 5 of those at home and just really working on getting the lift. Now, if you can do this by yourself, like you can bridge up and you can lift that leg, no problem, then I want you to get a mat and I want you to work on the kickover drills that we've been working on, which is you put your feet on the mat, bridge up, and kick over. Or, well, you don't have a mat. Let's see. So if you don't have a mat at home, a stool will work, or your couch, or the side of your bed, or just anything that is elevated. And the higher the elevation, the easier it's going to be. So I'm going to have Emily just kind of bridge up. She's going to pretend She doesn't know how to do this. And she's gonna bridge up. But start with your feet on the mat. And then you want to have your hands as close to your feet as you can get them without hurting. And just go ahead and kick it over. There you go. And that's forcing them to get the stretch in their chest that they need. Now, Emily, she made hers really tight. So you don't have to walk your hands in that close, but just make sure you have enough to where your chest is over your hands. Okay? And then go ahead and do 5 of these at home. Go ahead, bridge up and just kick it over on the mat, Emily. Do a couple more just so you guys can see. Bridge up. And kick it over. Okay, now did you see how she had to walk her hands in? Because even for Emily, her hands were way too far away to kick over. And that's what I'm talking about. Make sure your hands are a little bit closer to your feet. Okay. Beginner tumbling, and we're going to go ahead and just do our end of class workout. So the first thing we're going to do is push-ups, or plank, I'm sorry. And we're going to do 2 of them for 20 seconds, okay? So I'm going to have Leah show you guys what it looks like for a second. And there he is. So you want to have nice straight legs and a flat body, and you want to hold it in this hollow position. So go ahead and come down. And that is what we're going to do. So when I say up, everybody's going to go up, and you guys are going to hold it for 20 seconds. You want to count? Alright, ready? No, you don't have to count loud. Okay, so Leah, when I say go, Leah's going to count it, but she's not going to count it loud, so when she comes down, you guys come down. Alright? 1, 2, 3, up! Alright, and make sure you guys keep that body nice and tight. Squeeze those little tummy muscles. We need lots of tummy muscles. And another thing you can do to make it a little bit harder, I know you guys are beginners and you probably won't want to, but you can actually point your toes. Can you point your toes underneath and hold your plank in that position, which makes it a little bit harder to your toesies. And everybody come down. You can stretch out your belly. Pushing up. There you go. And then we're going to get ready for our second 20-second. So everybody get ready and up. Now remember, for the second one, it's going to be a little bit harder, so you don't want to get too planky. Make sure you keep your body nice and straight. Then hold. If you cannot hold this for the full 20 seconds on the second one, then try to hold it for at least every 5 seconds before you come down. If you can hold it for 10 seconds before you come down, that's even better. Everybody down. Alright, so just make sure that you guys are working really hard on hitting those planks and keeping your balance up. The next thing we're going to do is our tuck ups. Layla?
Layla's next.
Alright, and we are only going to do 2 sets of 12 tuck ups. So Layla's going to do 3 of them for you, just so you guys can see what they look like. 1, 2, 3. See, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You want to keep your heels off the floor, you want to keep your shoulders off the floor, and just kind of balance on your bottom as you tuck in. Every time your knees come in, that is 1. Layla's going to go ahead and count hers when I say go, so when she stops, you stop. 12. Ready? And go. 2. Now, try to keep your feet together and really think about your form when you're doing this. If your body is tight and your toes are pointed, then the chances of them being tight and pointed when you do a skill is higher. Because you got to train your body. Good job, everybody stop. And then if you want, you can roll over like we did for our planks. Really get a stretch up. Pull back also works too. And we're going to do 1 more set. So everybody laying back. Layla's going to count them out, and when she stops, you stop. Alright, ready? And go. Now, Layla likes to have her arms out here. You can also put your arms up here on your shoulders, or you can put them up by your ears, whichever one is more comfortable. I just say do not grab your legs. Go ahead and grab your legs real fast, Layla. Don't do that, okay? Alright. And don't let your fingers touch the floor. Alright, and everybody stop. And then, last but not least, Emily is going to come back over here in this. And Emily's going to show us her amazing on your nose or your chest. Okay, so Emily's going to go ahead and start. She's going to count them out for 12, so when she stops, you stop. Ready? Go. Come on. Now, if Emily goes a little bit faster than you, that's okay. You just make sure you count them out and you do 12, okay? And if you have to stop in between, like I said, that's fine, guys. Just make sure every number is done, okay? Alright. And that ends our beginning tumbling workout.